Okay, so my mate has lent me his bike. He's been very kind. So I'm going to do another attempt at a review. I don't know that much about it, and it's not something I have any experience in. So without any further ado, the bike I'm going to have a look at now is, ta-da! So it's a Honda CB125 F, as it's kindly been written there for me. So this replaces the Honda CB125F, which has been like the best-selling bike for years, especially in the 125 category. But I think it's actually been the best-selling bike altogether. So yeah, it's a 125. So it's going to be aimed at new riders or kind of very frugal commuters. So I've done a little bit of research on it before. I've just picked it up off my mate. What do I know about it? So tyres are, I think it's 90 at the back and 80 at the front, so they're pretty thin, as you can see. I don't know what make they are. You've still got the tyres you got with the bike. It is I have no idea. Made in China. That's all I know. So I don't think they're Michelin or Pirelli or any of the particularly good makes. It's just the ones that come with it. Yeah, if I can find out, I might put it on the screen when I get back in. What else do we have? So everything's standard as well. It's a single cylinder, obviously. It's only a 125. It's about 10 brake horsepower, so it's a little bit less than the CBF. It's just been replaced. Okay, the tyre is a CST. Never heard of it. I don't know what else there is to say really. So yeah, it's a little 125. It's brand new. It's got about 200 miles on it, so I won't be thrashing it out. Like it's a 125, so you can't really thrash them too much. Horsepower, I don't know what the torque is. We'll find it out in practice in a second. But looks wise, the looks are entirely subjective, so it's a bit pointless me commenting on them. You either like it or you don't. I think it looks quite good. Looks a lot newer, a lot more modern than the CBF that's just gone out, and a hell of a lot more modern than the LCGs and that. Its main competition is pretty much the YBR from Yamaha. I think that's right. It's not a Grom, so Groms are kind of slowly taking over the 125 market, but this is a bit more sensible. I could see this being used a lot more for commuting rather than by kids thrashing the fuck out of it. So let's not waste any more time, let's go for a quick ride. Okay, so the seat height is, if I remember rightly, 775, so that's pretty low. I'm pretty short, I'm 5'7", with shortish legs even for a 5'7". Fair enough. And I have absolutely no problem. I can flat foot both sides, although I am on quite uneven ground at the moment, but so that should be okay for the vertically challenged among us. We could look at the dash before we go off. So we got the it's all analog. We've got the obviously speedometer, revometer. It's got a fuel gauge, which is awesome. My first bike didn't have one, or even a fuel warning light. It pissed the fuck off out of me. It's also, so everything's pretty standard. It's got indicator lights, main being neutral, oil light. The only kind of above standard light it's got, or part of the dash, is the gear indicator, which is pretty good, especially for these, which are going to be mainly used by new riders. Okay, next thing, mirrors. Okay, I wouldn't say they're great. I'm pretty chunky, pretty wide, and I can't see a lot. If you're average size or smaller, you probably get, so if you're average size, you'll probably get 2/3 of the screen free, which is good enough. If you're pretty petite, shall we say, you'll probably be able to see quite well. So they're not bad. They're not for me and my 50 odd inch chest. Okay, right. Clutch lever, well, without even starting it, that's incredibly light. Something else I've got to mention, so brakes are a single disc at the front, I think. Yep, single disc at the front and a drum at the back. So I've never ridden a bike with a drum before, except obviously getting this one here. So it'd be good to see what that actually, how that works. Let's go left. So the indicator's fine. Horn, it works. Normal stuff. Half beam, full beam, starter. Nothing out of the ordinary. All pretty Honda. Pretty standard. It doesn't look flash, but then it doesn't look cheap either. Okay, let's go. Okay, so the position. My history with bikes is I've owned a Honda Hornet and a VFR 800, so a 600 and 800. I've ridden a 125. I rid 2 different ones when I did my CB2 over 2 different mornings, and I've had a little go of my mate's Grom. So it's not huge, so again, just so easy there, ducky. So easy there, ducky. For the position, the feet are quite far forward. They're not stupidly far forward, and it's quite comfortable. My knees aren't too bent. It's definitely built for kind of commuting with a comfortable position rather than cramped up for speed or anything. The handlebars, again, I'm quite wide, but they don't feel too bad. They're in a good place. You're quite upright. I can barely, my standard position, I can barely see the dash. It's like down here somewhere, unless I do that, obviously. But yeah, position's quite good, especially for newer riders. There's no strain on the neck, like looking up or anything like that. All good. So I've got a nice bend here, so nothing behind me, so I'm going to slow right down. Oh, another bend right here as well. And just see how it accelerates. Okay, so it's a 125, so I wasn't expecting to wheelie. It is a bit sluggish. So yeah, it's a bit sluggish, but then it is a 125. It's not going to be the fastest 125 in the world. Isn't going to pull like a train, is it? It's going to be what it is. I'm going to do a bit of a speed test. I'm not going to like rev the hell out of it in each gear. I'm just going to slowly ease up to the speed limit in the 5th gear. Okay, we're at 40. Come on, girl. We're struggling to get 50, but it is a little bit uphill. Evening off now, so I should get to 50. There we are, 50. It's still creeping up very slowly. I'm running out of road, but I think that would, I think it would do 55. Again, with me on it, I'm quite heavy, about 20 stone, something like that. I like my pie. With a lighter rider on, I'm pretty sure it'd hit 60. It's not going to be, I might get 70 in the favourable conditions with a bit of wind, so on and so forth. So it turns quite well. It's very easy to tip in. Very easy indeed. Very smooth. The engine's, it's not too rough, or makes a reasonably pleasant sound for what it is. Again, it's not going to sound like an R1 with an Acura on the back. But it's not bad at all. Are you getting the theme here? It's not bad. It's probably going to be the conclusion, I predict. I'm not finished yet. I'm going to go for a bit of town riding, so I may have to fast forward to that. It's all gravy. Gearbox, yeah, it's absolutely fine. I just went straight down for the gears. pretty smooth, it's not clunky or anything like that. I don't know if you can hear that. That's what it sounds like, in case you care. Please. Fucking hell. Yeah, well, like turn it around. Okay, so I'm on my mate's bike and I've just driven through a red light. Should I tell him? Should I tell him? That is great. Yeah, that's fucked. That is fucked. It was green, but it's still going the other way. Classy work. But yeah, I suppose I better tell him in case. To be honest, there's no cameras there anyway, and even if there are, most of them are forward facing. The amount of times I see that with traffic lights, so they don't actually bloody work. Seat's okay. I can't imagine, I've been on this about 15-20 minutes, I can't imagine doing a long journey. But it's not bad for short, you know, if you're on it for 2 hours, you're going to get arseache. So now approaching, I say town, it's the little large village, small town that I live in, which is sort of where, or town work is sort of where this bike's meant to be. And yeah, I mean, I don't even really need to come into like beer to prove it. It's quite agile. It's quite narrow. It's quite easy to get between traffic. Let's do a little U, or say not U-turn, hairpin. Let's go. Okay, the brakes, I'm going to have to test them in a second. Okay, there's nothing behind me. Back brake's a bit weak. It is a drum brake, so I wasn't expecting it to be powerful. Well, thank you. Still nothing behind me. Okay, front brake is much more powerful. Sort of as you'd expect. A fact I didn't mention on this, 155 miles to the gallon is claimed, or 150, I forget. It's a fuckload. I've read some other bits and bobs that said that you can't actually get that in reality, but it's still 130. It's still, you know, I think it's a 13 litre petrol tank. All this stuff I was meant to do in the walk around at the beginning, and it just like goes right out my head. Yeah, 13 litre tank, say between 100 and 130 miles per gallon, which is realistic. I will work that out. I will see it's 130 full 13 litres, 130 miles per gallon. I'll work that out and put the figure up on the thing. It's probably going to be like 300 miles. It's going to be ridiculous. I'm liking that gear lever indicator. Gear indicator either. I don't need an indicator to indicate where the lever is. That would be daft. Okay, there's a van parked next to my bike. A touch worrying. It is okay though, so I feel safe. I will have to blur my number plate out here. But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.